magic age of might. A band of heroes step up to the fight, playing with powers they don't understand. Will they fuck it all up or will they save the land? Treachery, vanity, loitering and worse. They are their own worst enemies. These fuckers only know cause. Authors and dragons. Authors and dragons. Their powers combined, a group of fantasy authors take on a sadistic games master. Will they survive? Like and subscribe, motherfucker. Authors and dragons. Authors and dragons.
Hey everybody, I'm John Hartness, and I'll be playing the role of Fandango the Feathered, Bird of all trades and master of fireballs. In real life, I write the Black Knight Chronicles urban fantasy series, the Bubba the Monster Hunter comedy horror series, and the Quincy Harker Demon Hunter dark urban fantasy series. And I publish a few people you might have heard of.
Hi, I'm Joseph Brassi. I play the role of Bjorg Bjornsson, enthusiastic and violent barbarian. I was an author on the Mongoliad books. My novels Skyfarer and Dragon Road can be found from Angry Robot Books. And I'm the author of such non-existent titles as What's in the Cactus Sack? It's spiky and possibly
Hi, my name is Rick Gualtieri, and I play the Stallion of the Gods, who definitely isn't the same horse as Silence Mane there. In real life, I write The Tome of Bill, Bill of the Dead, False Icons, The Hybrid of High Moon, and that pretty much covers it.
Hello, friends. My name is Robert Bevan. I play the role of Weasel Klaus. In real life, I write the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories, starting with the first book, Critical Failures. And I also write a shit ton of the books in the Shingles series, including the most recent two. Alright, well, the most recent one's called Thicker Than Blood.
Hi there, my name is Steve Wetherill, and I play Brandon Firemaster, monk, currently a puma. In real life, I write such books as, well, in real life, I write the comic book adaptation of Authors and Dragons called Chronicles of Calamity, which is still available on Indiegogo through InDemand. So if you want to check that out, just Google Chronicles of Calamity. You should find it.
Hey everybody, I am Drew Hayes, the author of books such as Superpowered NPCs, Fred the Vampire Accountant, 5 Minute Sherlock, Villain's Code, and the upcoming September shingles Action Cadabra, a tale that dares to ask the question, what if a professional magician got entered into a death tournament? And listen, y'all, I know, I look at the numbers. I know shingles often get skipped by a big majority of our fans. Go read this one. I'm telling you right now. I'm looking you in the eyes through the podcast. Go read this one.
And while you're at it, read the rest.
Yeah, because Drew's like, fuck the rest of these guys, but make sure you buy mine.
Look, it's only weight if you put it on 1 point. I've had a lot of fun with Action Cadabra, so I'm pretty excited about that one.
And as the fattest guy on the podcast, I can empirically deny that it is weight no matter how wide I spread it.
But when last we left our intrepid adventurers on this historic moment, the last game before Authors and Dragons Digital Con, which will be coming up on August 15th and 16th from noon to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Look, we've been pretty good about not plugging this one. It's the week before. We got to get this in. So if anybody's not abreast on that situation, our planned convention had to be delayed due to COVID, so we are throwing a digital one for 2020 instead. It will be mainly focused on the YouTube channel, and if you want to check it out, youtube.com/AuthorsandDragons. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, and if you show up in Nashville, we won't be there.
And we have done the same level of promotion as we usually do, exhibiting the same level of organization, so you can come to expect the same kind of clusterfuck you love us for.
It's the good shit.
It is the good shit. And speaking of the shit, when last we left our intrepid adventurers, they managed to anger every elemental on the map, with the lone exception of Klaus the Weasel, who hung around attempting to make rope before shredding his raw material.
Does that mean it's my turn?
Actually, yeah, that's as good of a bring into this as any.
Okay.
So,
Well, there was a pause. I didn't know.
we're going to wipe the turn order. So everybody except Klaus was hauling ass, moving away.
Yes.
Klaus, I think their movements are going to be fairly consistent for a while. What did you have in mind?
Do I have any idea of what's going on around me?
Not a bit. You know there's a lot of elemental noise and whatnot, but you were alternately in the dirt and then in the very thick brush that's difficult to see through.
All right. Well, I'd like to try to make rope again.
You will have to attempt to find the raw material, which I believe was a 10% chance that you had failed on the last one. So it's a new game, new session.
Yeah.
You can search a different area and try again. But I'm just reminding you, it's a D100. Pick a span of 1 through 10 anywhere in there.
Right. All right. I'm gonna give this one more shot.
Should the rest of us just leave and we just make this 2 hours of Klaus making rope?
That's like every season
we're gonna go
of
to
Survivor,
Klaus,
isn't
and
it?
then we're gonna go to you guys, and then we're gonna go to Klaus, and then we're gonna go to you. This is what happens when a party gets split.
It's nature time.
All right. I'm just gonna do 1 through
All right.
10. Klaus rolls a 66.
You do not find something that is suitable for rope construction.
Okay. I've got another idea for next time.
See, I'm really curious as to what he's doing, but I know he will never achieve it. This will just be a mystery forever.
I'm kind of curious as to what he will achieve that bears no resemblance to what he's trying to do.
There is that, yeah.
Will he manage to lead all the elementals to you? Speaking of, Bjorg, after, by this point, let's say, I'm guessing about 30 seconds, there's a loud pop. You lose an action as you are turned back into a boar. You have run out of your minute.
My glorious northern body.
You will be able to use that ability again once you have taken a short rest.
You're suddenly far less interesting.
Shut up, horsey.
Did anyone have anything specific they wanted to do while they were madly fleeing for their lives?
Oh no, I'm pretty focused on the running away.
Now that Bjork has dropped the chest, I want to see if it fell open when it hit the ground.
No, that chest was sturdy enough that it's not going to fall from a mere jostling.
Is it even possible for us to open it at this point?
I mean, you have a horse and a boar and a bird that can do magic. A lot of shit is possible for you. Now, ask me if it's possible for you to pick the lock.
We have Gordon. He has hands.
Yeah. Now ask me if he has sleight of hands.
There's nothing slight about a gorilla.
I read they have really small penises relative to their size.
That is true. Take that, gorillas.
I will use sleight of penis.
I'm just picturing Steve drunk at the zoo, just screaming down into the gorilla exhibit. You're not better than me.
Oh, what else do you do at the zoo? It's the whole point of it.
The whole point of
Look
the
at
zoo.
your arms, but look at my dick.
Man arrested for pulling pants down and screaming into gorilla pit while furiously wanking. Yelling,
No, that's just how do they go to the zoo in Britain.
So, do you guys want to try and break the chest open, or do you want me to try and break the chest open?
Are you going to stop? Gordon can keep dragging it behind without much
Oh,
issue.
well, then fuck that. Yeah, hey, Gordon, grab the chest. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll use him for what he's intended for, just expediency.
Sorry to drop it, but I don't have hands.
So, can we all agree that Klaus is probably dead?
I actually was going to ask, does anybody want to roll a perception to see if you notice that Klaus isn't there?
I did already. I made a point to shout something to him as we were running away, whether he heard me or not, or was busy making his rope.
I feel pretty sure he did not hear you.
No. But I didn't know he'd left the shit pile, so I shouted at the shit pile. Which, you know, is probably about as effectual as shouting at Klaus. So, I don't know he's dead.
I mean,
But I did say we were running away from certain death, and he hasn't followed us.
we
Ergo.
thought that he was dead so many times.
And
And
he's
he's
disappointing.
still not dead.
Do we want to go back and find him?
Are you fucking high?
Yeah. Speaking of, let's throw back to Klaus. Klaus, what would you like to do?
All right, I would like to. I want to try to remember if the bridge is made of rope, and I'm gonna go peek out of the bushes and look at the bridge.
You know what? Based on the little icon and everything, it sure does seem like there's rope on the handles.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. But you know, you got only so much to use for icon, so
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. I'll give it to you. It's on the map. It looks
Wait.
reasonable.
That's cool. I probably noticed that none of my companions are around. Do I see anything else like that makes me?
Oh yeah. As you poke your head out, you notice that everything, like all the water, all the rocks, is standing up and kind of milling around. You could even catch like one of the big rock elementals throwing a few final stones after your friends.
All right. Well, they look angry. I would like to try to subtly go over to the nearest end of the rope and gnaw on it.
And today we see what an elemental's perception
Should I roll a
is.
stealth check?
You know what? Sure, you're trying to do it covertly.
Yes. Oh, shit. Klaus rolls a natural 1.
Oh.
Oh.
That paired with the fact that they have tremor sense is not great.
So we can all
we'll
agree
see.
Klaus is dead, right?
I was just going to say, well, this will mean he catches up to us in 3 rounds. Because he's a weasel. He's quick.
Well, yeah, he didn't natural 1 that one, so yeah, and nor did the water elemental natural 1. Oh boy, yeah. With that, not only do they see you, they're like, oh, another of these motherfuckers.
I'm just a weasel.
I will give you that you are experienced enough as a rogue to realize that there are some evil-looking stares, and one of the Earth Elementals just doing that old-timey thing where you have one hand and a fist, and he's just punching into it.
Time to beat the weasel.
Weasel beater.
Steve, if you would like to cue up some Benny Hill music for whatever Klaus is about to go through.
Well, no, I mean, what I'm about to do is run back into the trees because, you know, I'm not stupid.
Oh, wait a minute now.
All right.
But I'm also not willing to let this go. I got a plan.
Thereby
Run back into the
proving
trees.
the inaccuracy of that not stupid statement.
Go ahead and give me a initiative roll.
Oh, great. Okay.
You can use the rest of your action to get back into trees if you want. This can all be one movement. You ran out, you saw everybody look at you, and you ran right back in.
Yep. Initiative is 11.
Alrighty. And okay, so for initiatives, the earth elementals get an 8 and the water elementals get a 9. All right, we're going to go back to the others, and then we'll come back and see how Klaus does. Anything you guys want to do as you're madly running away?
I can't think of anything.
Well,
I mean-
are we being chased?
Yeah, is anything coming after us?
You guys can look back and notice a few rogue stones hit quite a ways back, but they are not chasing you. They were chasing you out of their area.
Right.
They have succeeded.
Let's stop and open the chest.
Well, let's run for a few more minutes and then stop and open the chest.
We'll compromise. We'll leisurely stroll for a few minutes, then open the chest.
I'm good with that.
All right. So, Klaus, you did the best in initiative. You're going to get one round to act before everybody else.
Okay. Man, this sucks. Alright, I would like to... Oh, god damn, there's a huge one ahead of me. Alright, I'm gonna sit tight and... no. I'm gonna run screaming to the southwest and staying in the cover of the trees.
Okay, reminder, you are going to have to roll acrobatics checks to move through the trees because of the tight conditions.
All right. Well, that's fine.
You can get through, you just take thorn damage if you do badly.
All right. I want to run like straight southwest to the edge of the map, screaming and like being scared, and then I'm going to attempt to sneak back later after they think I made a break for it.
Okay.
All right, so how many checks do I need?
You need to roll me
square? Or
yeah,
what?
you need an acrobatics check for every one of these dense squares you're moving through.
All right, that's 4 squares. Acrobatics checks coming up.
And you're looking to beat a 12.
13.
Yep.
12.
Good.
Natural 1 again. That's a double natural 1.
Yeah, luckily that doesn't hurt you on this one.
Yeah, but... and 20.
All right. 5 thorn damage from the one where you were skittering along, but you, like, misjudged one gap and gashed your side pretty bad.
All right. It'll be worth it in the end.
I'm certain it will.
Okay. The water elementals are going to, since you were screaming, they will be kind enough to get closer. Whereas the earth elementals...
It's Weasel stomping day.
God damn.
Klaus, you are in the forest, feeling very, very smart with yourself on the excellent idea to hide in the thick foliage when the ground begins to rumble, and just before a pair of giant fists burst out, punching you in the face, you realize, oh right, earth elementals, as in they can move through the earth.
Why didn't you lazy assholes go after the guys that were actually doing damage to you?
They did. They don't hit very well, but they do have pretty good mobility. We'll give you a slam. Oh, they get 2 slams each. We'll do 3 slams, because one of them had to trek quite a ways. 14, 14, 18. Any of those hit?
18 hits.
Okay, 19 bludgeoning damage.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Well, it is a giant pile of rock that just knocked the fuck out of you.
Yeah, basically you
Stomping.
got
Man.
stone uppercut.
I
So
like the fact that this 30-foot rock monster is just beating the shit out of a little weasel.
Yeah, the odds that they were going to notice and put all that together weren't great, but a natural 1 stealth is basically walking out in like a full-on robber outfit with like a sack with a dollar sign on your back. All right. So the other folks who are running away, have you reached the point where you would like to pause for your chest?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We're safe.
See if we can get into the damn thing.
Nobody's pummeling us to death for the minute.
At the moment.
We're not
There we
getting
go.
punched.
And they've probably found something else to punch by now.
Some thing that will get dealt with at a later point.
All right, let's open this chest and hope it's not full of more rocks.
Or scorpions.
I'll deal with scorpions over rocks right now.
It doesn't say scorpions anywhere on the chest, does it?
It's probably fine then.
Nothing in a language that you can read, but I don't think either of you speak Earth Elemental.
Oh, no. This is going to be an Earth Elemental baby.
Try to smash it open with my hooves.
Roll me a melee attack.
Yes, in the most offensive way possible.
9.
9 is not quite enough to break the AC of a decent chest. You clack your hooves off like the metal side. It just makes a clanging noise.
Hey, Bjorg, since Stallion of the Gods is like, I don't know, humping it, you want to gore this fucking thing open?
Bjorg will attempt to gore this fucking thing open.
Roll me a melee attack.
All right, that is a 25.
A 25 is capable of hitting a stationary chest successfully well.
And damage is 11.
Okie dokie. Roll me a D100 and pick a percentage of 1 through 25 before you roll.
Let's say 50 to 75, 61.
Okay. You hear a crunching sound from within the chest as your tusk does break through a chunk of the wood and pierces inside, and it sounds like you hit some of whatever was in there. This is the risk of attacking a chest to open it.
I hit something. It was the chest.
Why don't... You know, if we sit here for a few minutes and just kind of chill...
If only you guys had a road.
Yeah, that would be great in this party.
If only we weren't mourning his sad death right now.
Why don't we just chill for a little bit, and then Bjork and I can turn back into our bipedal forms and open the chest.
Okay, you guys would like to commence a short rest. That is an hour time commitment.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Okay.
How do we heal during a short rest again?
You can heal by spending hit die. You guys spend them very rarely, so I imagine you're probably all topped off. You recover half of your maximum on a long rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think if I sing during the short rest, you get an extra 1d6.
All right, well, I'm going to spend 4. That brings me back to max.
One might even say you're as healthy as a horse. This is the gold people come for.
Unfortunately, he's only as healthy as a part of the horse.
I'm going to spend 2...
Is that the dong or the butthole?
Yeah.
Leaving that
But
one up
that's
to the listeners to
Torag's
decide.
Wow.
So, that's the dong hole.
Let's sit back up to 72 hit points.
Full hit points, full key.
And add 4
Okay. That'd be 76
to your
then.
total. You don't add it to each.
Okay, cool.
Each hit die, but you just add it to the total.
All right, well, they are adjusting their hit dice on character sheets. Klaus, would you like to do some adjusting of position on the map?
Yes. Now, I know I'm at the edge of the map. Does that mean I can't go any further west?
Yeah, the sides of this turn into more rock. That's what these little mountainous parts that grow up are signifying.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, then I guess I'm going... All right, I guess there's no way to get out of this without attacks of opportunity.
You
So-
can spend an action to disengage, which allows you to move away without taking attacks of opportunity, but it cuts you down to 1 movement.
The only way I've got to go is east, and there's, taking a 5-foot step, it's still got 2 guys on me.
Yeah, you'd have to spend the full action. But remember, they are both submerged. So if you're going south, that guy is technically under you. So you can run over that spot.
Oh, well, I actually want to go north.
Okay. Same. If you want to run over them, that's okay. Because I did say they were both submerged.
Your friends in safety are to the south, while I want to go north.
My friends are assholes.
And safety is a very relative term in this world.
All right, those big rocks north of me, am I able to, like, climb those, or?
You can try. They are taller than the elementals.
I just want to get to a place where I'm not getting the shit beat out of me and I can rest a bit. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna make a break for the bridge, and
So if you're going north, that's more acrobatics checks to get through the brush.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Oh man, no, fuck it. I'll go south.
Okay. Are you going to disengage, or are you going to eat the 2 attacks of opportunity?
All right. What does disengage involve? Like, what happens if I disengage?
Instead of getting to move twice,
yes,
you use your action to disengage, and you get your movement. So you can only move whatever your movement speed is.
Well, I will disengage, and no, they're just gonna beat the shit out of me anyway. All right, no, I'm just gonna. I'll eat the attacks of opportunity, and I'll see if I'll see how fast they are. I'm gonna go 60 feet.
Okay.
I'm going for. I'm not going for stealth. I'm going for running my tail off. So I'm gonna stick to the grasslands here.
All right.
So these are 5-foot squares, correct?
Yeah. So you're only gonna need 1 acrobatics check to get out of there.
Okay, acrobatics check coming up.
15 and 18 for your attacks of opportunity.
I think those both hit, but let me check.
Do either of those hit?
I think they both do, but let me...
We'll take the first acrobatics.
Yeah, that first acrobatics was a 19. Sorry about that.
All right. 15 and a 12.
Yeah.
Or 15 and an 18.
Yes, those both
18
hit.
hits you?
Both of them hit me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, no. My armor class is 15.
Then that hits.
That hits, right.
All right. So that is going to be 7 plus 12. So that's 19 damage.
Awesome.
Yes. And I'm going to go ahead. While your internet goofed out, I looked something up. I'm going to go ahead and save our wonderful listeners the trouble of screaming this in the comment section. As an FYI, rogues at 2nd level can take a bonus action to dash, disengage, or hide. So you could have disengaged for free.
Oopsies.
All right. Well, that's nice to know for the future, and I'll forget it again.
I don't mind looking these up, but I always tell you after.
Yeah, no, that's only fair.
But yeah, so that gives you a little more freedom in movement stuff, but you do successfully survive that onslaught and make it away.
Awesome.
They are chasing you still, though. I should be clear. It's their turn, and they are moving after you. They just don't have great movement speed.
All right, that's what I was hoping for.
All right. So they're going to move down. The other people are long resting. What is your next move?
Well, fuck it. I guess I'm the only one that give a shit about it. I'll keep running. I'll go drag them down to the others. Take the fight to them.
All right. As you move off the map, you notice that they throw a few rocks after you, but they do not continue to pursue. You have been chased from their nest. Now, normally I would just assume we're going to meet up, but I'm not going to assume that with you, Klaus. So do you continue running? Your friends are about, let's say, 6 rounds ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going. I want to get healed so I can come back and...
All right. You scramble on down to join up with your friends who are resting around a treasure chest with a boar-sized tusk hole in it.
I see you tried to pick the lock.
In a manner of speaking.
Well, we didn't have your face, so this is how we check for traps without you.
Oh, glad to see you're alive, by the way.
Hey, Klaus, does your head fit in a boar tusk-sized hole?
Probably.
I think that might be a little small. We made him bigger than a standard weasel.
Oh.
That's why he has decent movement speed, but Bjork's tusks aren't quite that huge.
No. No, they are not, unfortunately.
He didn't roll for that, huh?
I did not roll for that. Klaus, if you would like to spend some hit die, you can start your own short rest, not long rest. That's 8 hours. Short rest, say a couple minutes behind your friends.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. You may spend hit die as appropriate to recover hit points.
So
And I'm
Klaus,
singing, so you get 4 more.
All right, I think I just used them all, and I'm up to 30. That blows.
while we're resting, I'll just make some conversation with Klaus.
I couldn't help notice that we lost track of you in the backwards attack there, brother. Did you have something more pressing?
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
I looked in the ship pile, where I assumed you'd be.
I saw a few of you try on that armor underwater, and I thought, that's a stupid way to try on armor. But if I could get a rope and attach it to the armor and pull it up and then try it on land, that could be awesome.
Or you could drown in the water that seems to permeate the armor.
Have you... nobody has tried this, like, by pulling it out of the water first.
Fendingo
It's only
did.
permeating... What?
Fendingo tried it while he was standing on the bridge.
Oh, God, wait.
Well, you weren't watching. You were digging in the shit at the time.
Yeah, you weren't digging in the ship pile. It's very on character that you did not see this.
It's okay, Klaus. Maybe it would have worked the second time.
He pulled up armor out?
The armor came out. The armor came out on its own. It had, again, movement and agency.
Oh, fuck.
And was filled with kind of a living water.
Ah. Well, shit. Still, I mean, we could, like, sell that shit to, like, a fish man or something.
I don't know how he'd feel about being sold. He seemed quite unhelpful.
I don't think we were going to ask permission. I also don't think we were going to tell the buyer that the armor was full of sentient water that would drown them.
I might have to meditate on the morality of that.
We could fill it with dry rice.
I thought he was going to say piss. I'm so glad he was just waiting for we could fill it with piss.
What would be the point of that?
I don't know. But we're 4 years in at this, or 5 years deep at this point, and I've learned to expect nothing and everything.
The only successful plans you have are pissing on something.
I mean, I'll try
Hey, you
it.
want this magic armor?
But
As a bonus, it's full of piss.
We have to get the armor first, though.
Are we pissing on the chest? Is that what's happening right now?
We are not pissing on the chest.
Nobody's pissing on anything.
Oh, okay.
It used to be full of sentient water. Now it's full of angry, very angry sentient piss water.
Angry sentient piss water. This is good.
And rice.
We've come away with a treasure that we've probably broken. You know, let's just be happy with that. I don't think that. I think that suit of armor was full of shit. I think he was just all that greatest warrior thing. I just think he liked drowning people. That's the vibe I got off of him. But I can't imagine that's got a lot of resale value.
I'm saying we should try the rice thing. If that doesn't work,
I'll tell you what, if this chest is filled with dry rice, then you're on. I suspect it isn't.
It did go crunch. Rice kind of makes a rustling sound, doesn't it?
That's true. But you never know.
so does whatever you broke in the chest.
No, I distinctly remember that going crunch.
Well, we'll find out soon.
is Bjorg's tusk sharp enough for me to pick the lock with, or should I get like a stick or something?
I think he's using it.
Yeah, I don't. Even in a situation in which the tusk was a little easier to take in hand and whatnot, I don't think it would be the right size to pick the small lock on the chest.
All right, it was just like a power play.
So, has it been an hour?
If you guys don't have anything else you need to do while you're short resting, then it can be.
All right.
Okay. Doesn't sound like anyone else had other stuff. So yeah, the short rest comes to an end. You have all regained the hit points on the hit die that you spent. Bjorg and Fandingo's ability to become human for a minute has been restored.
Hey, Stallion of the Gods. Do you still have that immovable rod?
If I had my body, the answer would be yes. Hint, I don't.
All right, so you're no use to me. All right, Bjorg, you want to turn back human and try to rip the lock off?
I mean,
Is no one going to let Klaus try a sleight of hand check?
If only you had a robe.
he does have tiny weasel hands.
I think by this stage, most of us have forgotten that you're a rogue.
It's not
I'm
unreasonable.
also a wizard. I don't know my spells.
Klaus, do you know how to pick locks?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Okay.
That's like you saying that you
Okay.
find traps all the time, but you find them with your face.
I don't have any tools with me.
I will let you use your little weasel claws as thieves' tools.
Oh, all right.
That seems. I let everybody else keep the base capabilities of their class in the transformation, so that only seems fair.
So is this a sleight of hand?
Yeah, sure. We'll do it a sleight of hand. I think there's a special way, but I'm not going to look it up.
All right. Well, that's a 22.
Ah, damn. Okay, you jam your little paw in, and you hear some clickings. It's like, oh man, I've got this most of the way done. What should have been a couple of checks is probably only one more.
So one more.
One more. You're basically moving the little mechanisms correctly. You got to get everything lined up right.
All right. I got a 14 on the next one.
That'll do it. Yeah, you are. Click, 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 and Klaus pops his little paw out, and the lock falls to the ground.
Holy shit, you really are a rogue.
Oh, wow.
Check it out. Some broken commemorative plates. Awesome.
These plates featuring Elvis are guaranteed to rise in value. You find, I actually have to check my notes on this one. All right, you find several sacks of what look to be useful materials, very similar to the kind that you traded to a badger for equipment upgrades a few games ago. There are 3 of them, although one has been skewered, and looking inside, it looks like the materials have been damaged pretty badly. So that one is going to be of partial value, if any. But you did get 2 more bags of tradable upgrade materials.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
2 out of 3 in bed.
That's
Well
okay.
done, Klaus.
You have found us stuff.
Yeah. Thanks.
You should get the shit beat out of you more often. Sharpens you up a bit.
All right. So we're gonna go back for that armor.
No.
That's a hard no.
I don't want that
The
armor.
entire landscape wants to kill us.
I'm
And is pretty good at it.
not convinced by the value of that armor at all. I did not get on with that armor. It's a very single-minded, unhelpful being.
Well, I mean, I think the rest of you aren't worthy because you don't care enough, and that's why the armor was giving you shit.
I am fine being
I'm
unworthy.
the only one that cares.
Oh,
Go.
have a nice trip.
can't. No, even if I got a rope attached, I can't pull. I'm a fucking weasel.
Sucks to be you, bet.
Yeah, but you have fun playing Care Bear with that armor.
I'll continue on with whatever the losers want to do.
We're choosing the not drowning or getting smashed by moving landscape.
I like to fight, however, fighting the earth feels wrong.
Once again, Klaus is robbed of an underwater treasure.
Oh, that's a spike.
5-year cycle.
That's going on the live blog.
All right. So, are you all going to continue heading toward the plains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that brief, terrifying interlude, let's find less hostile climbs.
All right, you guys continue along the trail toward the plains. The river that you're following begins to thin out and kind of split up into smaller ones, and eventually sort of fading off into a little bit of a dusty centered, just a rut. And it's a hike. This is a big island. So you're going and making your way. The sun is beginning to set, and everybody roll me perceptions.
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 Always good for a laugh.
Fendingo rolls a 20.
Stallion of the Gods rolls a 12.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 7.
Klaus Richter rolls a 15.
Bjorg rolls an 18.
Everyone except Brandon Thymemaster sees something in the sky, a streak of light. It's harder to note against the, fading sunset, but, you guys got above 10, so everyone can catch that. Those who beat 15, so that would be Klaus, Fendingo, and Bjorg, they can all notice that there's more than one streak, and they're moving through the sky, all kind of heading to the east. So you see multiple flying lights heading directly toward the east.
How strange.
Except Brandon Thymemaster.
I see nothing.
Should we perhaps follow them?
It's the stars of Bethlehem.
Brandon, stop looking at your asshole. There are 4 lights.
There are 5 lights.
Fendingo, you got a 20. So Fendingo is the only one, fittingly enough, who is pretty sure he hears music.
Is it any good? Can they play?
From this far off, you're not even sure enough that it is music, so you can't really gauge it yet.
Everything is music.
Your tinnitus is just acting up.
Yeah.
Ugh,
From this far off, it's got a good beat.
All right. Hey, guys, there's a rave over there. Let's fucking go.
I think
I
it's
see
signaling
lights.
us to go get that armor.
There are lights, and that means there are drugs.
Oh, that means there's sinners.
We have stuff to trade, and I haven't had anyone look at me for a while, except for you guys.
It could be a baby Jesus in armor.
I don't know what that
I'm not
is.
even sure what you're saying right now. So I'm going to go chase the rave drugs. Who's coming with me?
I will go and chase the rave drugs.
I'll go chase the guy that can heal me.
Oh, our buddies might be there. We don't know.
Yeah, last time you guys saw glowing lights, Mr. History was setting up a fancy competition, so...
Yeah, it could be that awful snake. Let's go see.
Okay, that's less appealing. I'm still hoping for drugs.
I will follow in case there are sinners to smite.
I say we go look for baby Jesus, and everybody else wants to follow the serpent.
I am
Suddenly.
a bird. Fuck you.
I would stomp on them both equally.
Bjorg looks at Klaus and says in a very low, in a very level voice, "Smoke crack and worship Satan."
Fendingo is going to perch on Bjorg's shoulders and say, "Onward! Fuckery awaits!"
Just to make sure, since you are following lights in the sky in an unfamiliar terrain, why don't we go ahead and do some survival checks, just to be on the safe side.
Well, we're not getting anywhere near those lights.
Fandingo rolls a 5.
Stallion rolls a 16.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a natural 20.
Klaus Richter rolls an 11.
Bjorg rolls a natural 20.
Oh, man. Okay. So Fandingo raises a wing and gestures in an entirely wrong direction. But luckily, Bjorg is paying him no mind, and Fandingo isn't flying, so it doesn't really matter. Brandon and Bjorg are just locked on. They have seen these lights, and they are following.
Party time.
And Fandingo obviously has my real life's ability with directions.
So as you are going, you reach basically a sharp incline. You're kind of still skirting the edge of the plains, and this is obviously not that, as it just sharply raises up. And you can peer up, and you sort of see the lights like just vanishing over the lip of this thing in the sky. You can't see where they're going past it, so you'll have to start climbing.
Climb.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going to need an acrobatics from Stallion of the Gods. Most of you are pretty balanced, but I'm going to need the horse to make a check.
You've never seen a mountain goat climb?
Goat's not a horse.
I'm not one because I rolled a 7.
All right. Well, it's not below a 5. So Stallion of the Gods is going slowly, kind of dragging you down. But as you're getting closer, you don't even have to roll perceptions anymore. There's absolutely music coming from pretty close by. And to answer your question, yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Let's jam.
All right.
Who's
you all can climb to the top of the incline, which reveals itself to be the lip of a crater, like shooting right down. So you're sort of like looking almost like you're at the top of a coliseum. But it's a natural groove within the earth, leading down to a lot of bright lights and some loud music and other very interesting stuff that we will explore next time on Authors and Dragons. In fact, we'll be checking it out at the live game on Saturday, August 15th. So hopefully you all will be able to join us for that. But if not, we'll, of course, still have it on the usual channels. But as you know, we do not end our games when the session is over. We are running a live blog over at facebook.com/authors and dragons, where Joe's posting our funny lines and keeping an eye on your questions. But before we get to Joe, we'd like to let our Patreons cut the line over at patreon.com/authors and dragons, specifically the Discord. So that should have been enough blathering for Rick to have pulled up our first question. Rick, take it away.
More than enough. Our friend Lamplighter asks this interesting one. If there was one aspect of RPGs you could pull into the real world, magic, skill leveling, legendary weapons, demon horses, what would you choose, and would you share it with everyone or keep it for yourself?
I've got this one. I saw it earlier, and I have my answer. It's skill leveling. It's 100% skill leveling. Because working in the arts is such a fucking mind screw so much of the time of like, oh God, am I even getting better? Is any of this, am I improving, or am I just doing fucking nothing? Having a literal bar filling up signifying that, yes, you are getting better at this, would I think help soothe so many people's anxiety and imposter syndrome and whatnot.
You're a nice person. I'm less nice, so I'd say magic, and I'd fucking keep it to myself so I could just be like Doctor Strange.
You're already pretty strange, bro.
But now I'm a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd choose Drew's if he didn't already choose it. But I'm going to go with natural 20s, and I'd keep that to myself just so if I tried something enough times, eventually one of them would fucking rule.
I like the idea of everyone, every time they tried anything, having to hear the sound effect of a dice roll in their head forever.
You mean you don't?
Only if I don't take my meds.
I only hear it
But,
if I do.
geez. I think it would really be cute to have. It could lash people, and no one's ever really sure if it's there or not. And they're like, "Oh, can I pet your dog?" And it goes, "Whoa!" and like zaps them.
I mean, so it's just a normal cat.
Yeah, it just sounds like a more annoying cat.
Yeah, it's a cat that's like never quite there.
Again, Joe, that's just a cat.
just get a cat, man. I would be, the altruist in me wants to say healing magic to make the world a better place, and also make some serious money. But I think
Steve would be a cleric who charges out the ass.
the concept of leveling up, I just think the idea, because I always thought in games it's like, oh, you leveled up, you got a +2 strength. It's like, oh, right, okay, then what happens if I don't go to the gym for 6 months and just eat pizza? Do I keep that +2? And if that was the case, I'd be like, yes, I've got to spend like half a year working really hard, and then that's just it. I'm leveled up. I don't have to do any maintenance.
All I have to do is murder people.
Yeah, are you using the D&D system are you using the old school D&D system where the only way to gain XP is to kill things?
If so, you're going to see all the fucking munchkins walking outside with boiling tea kettles up to anthills and walking out with a shitload of XP.
To be fair, though,
Yeah.
if you murder that many people, you're either gonna get super strong or you're gonna be dead.
The thing is, murdering a load of people still sounds like a lot easier than jogging.
I mean, honestly, though, here's the thing. If we're going by typical RPG things, though, you're not starting out with people. You're starting out with small animals.
Well,
so really, it's like people.
Do.
yeah.
Low-level characters are just going around killing people's pets.
Oh my god.
Every time I kill a squirrel, I feel stronger.
And I jizz myself.
Look, there is an easy workaround for this, and it truly is the insect one. So in like old D&D, ants were worth, I think, like 1/8 of an XP point or something, but there's still thousands upon thousands upon thousands in an anthill. So if you dump boiling water into an anthill, you basically steal a shitload of XP. And I don't see any reason that can't work in the real world if murdering gets us things. Like, why does an ant not
I spent
count?
the last just 6 years murdering every chipmunk I could find.
Exterminators would be Goku, basically.
So you call the Orcan man. It's like, I need you to deal with my ant problem. He goes, Spirit Bomb!
Yeah.
So normally working in a slaughterhouse is a really demoralizing experience.
Oh, God.
If you got to come out of that fucking ripped and smarter and better looking, it's like, yeah, that was horrifying. It's turned people into, basket case killers before.
People are lining up to get jobs in kill shelters.
Oh,
Well, that
Jesus.
just turned horrific.
Well, the thing is, it's like there'd be a lot of emotional damage. Then you level up that wisdom, you can put it all into perspective. It's fine.
I am sitting here on a mountain of enlightenment and cow corpses.
Every 1,000 squirrels I kill, I get 2 points in this attribute of my choice.
You just see this rabbit running around your yard, and it's like, Daddy, is that a rabbit? No, son, that's experience points.
That's how we get ahead in life, kids.
Son,
Snap.
here's your very first pet goldfish. Now flush that motherfucker and level up.
Oh,
Here's a
now you
hammer.
want to know what's really scary? What if animals can do the same thing?
Oh, shit.
Well, see, that'd be the other part of it, because in most games, like, there is kind of, you can go out, punch an animal to death, level up, also get paid. So if it's a level playing field and we're all after each other, if those animals drop money, they don't stand a chance because humanity's coming for them.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, this is what Jack Chick was trying to warn us all about.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want random loot drops.
You walk into a
Oh,
town,
man.
you're like, okay, I
Every
need
time-
a quest. There's a dude down there with a really tough St. Bernard.
Okay, but RPGs are what we're talking about, and it was not specified whether it was tabletop stuff. So the question is this like your standard hack and slash where coins drop from dead rabbits, or are we talking Mario where I can go headbutt a wall and get coins?
Mario really an
Both.
RPG?
I want to
The
be.
idea is like,
I want it to be.
There is a Mario RPG though.
Yeah, I want it to be
And
like
in it you can-
like Baldur's Gate, where I break every jar in a store and I get $1 million.
And remember, in original Mario, you are murdering something every time you break a block.
That's true. It's a sentient block. So
Yeah.
that's the other question.
They're
is,
all
do we have
innocent
sentient
citizens
walls?
of the
'Cause,
Mushroom Kingdom.
Man, it's just like every brick in your house can scream.
Joe wants to make, Recycle Day a bloodbath.
I just want inanimate object. Look, sometimes I take all of my glass to all of my recycled glass down to the dump, so that I can throw it into the glass recycling thing. And the thing is, there is no greater pleasure than just hurling those bottles into the thing and watching them shatter. And I just wish they would scream.
You walk into that. Joe in Beauty and the Beast. He walks in, sees all the sentient furniture, and he looks down and sees the axe in his hand.
Yeah, and it's even better if the axe can talk. So I'm using him to kill his friends.
Yeah, sometimes I take a big bag of kittens down to the glass recycling center and chuck them in, and they scream.
Oh my god!
Now I'm kind of just picturing The Shining happening inside the Beauty and the Beast castle. Chopping through a sentient door. Oh god, why?
There's a doorknob, dear God.
Why did she curse me with a feeling of pain? What door needs this? We should probably take another question.
This got dark.
All right. Well, here's a quick interlude. Our friend I don't fuck no, or I don't fuck and no, says, the 2nd was my birthday, and today is my little brother Caleb's. Can we get a nice big fuck you?
Fuck you, Caleb.
Fuck you.
Fuck you and the Caleb you wrote in on.
Fuck you and your brother.
I don't know why I went Olive Garden with mine, but I'm just going to own it.
Hey, when you're here, you're family.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Our friend Zach of All Trades asks, do you have any teachers from your schooling years that you really remember that either had a positive impact on you or the inverse? A teacher you would absolutely despise and wouldn't piss on if they were on fire?
I have two. One, the first one who had the positive influence was one of my teachers in high school. His name was Mr. Redding, and he was this tall, buff Italian man who his favorite thing to do was to make his biceps dance. He would just randomly flex the shit out of his biceps. He had huge freaking biceps in front of the class, and it would shut anyone up when they were causing trouble. Which is funny because he wasn't threatening at all. He was just started posing like a pro wrestler. But he was he was a very empathic, kind man. He was one of the first ones he caught me writing poetry and told me I should keep doing it. Which was really nice. The scary teacher I had was, so when I was in elementary school, I had a teacher that we would do the thing where you would trade. You had one teacher for almost all subjects, and then you had another teacher for one subject, so you could get used to trading rooms. And she was the science teacher, I think, and she was this. At least when I was a kid, I remember it this way. She was this gigantic, bowl cut, bleach blonde hair woman with the voice of the deep raspy voice of an angry chain smoker. And her name was Mrs. Cabal. And she was the most terrifying human being I had ever encountered in my life. Which is funny because in retrospect, she sounded like Mike Myers in his sketches.
Hey, little Joey, Mrs. Cabal needs her feet rubbed.
I'm going to talk to you about the Tyrannosaurus Rex and how it liked to eat people. And it's just when I was young, when I was really little, that was just utterly terrifying. She actually was a shitty teacher though, because she was one of those teachers who subscribed to the idea that when a student fucks up, you should humiliate them in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's not a very good teacher, but also
For this question, I will skip past the entire private school.
Jesus.
I think in secondary school, my favourite teacher was Doc Campbell. He was a softly spoken, educated man. Stuff about English, media, business, and he would read to the class and he would do the voices, which was very good. In a school in Corby, where even though it was one of the nicer schools, everybody's a sarcastic, bitter prick. But he did the voices, and nobody called him out on it because I think we all liked his voices. My worst teacher in that school, I was going to say the most imposingly bad teacher in that school was the principal, this guy called Mr. Newman, who was this giant Welshman who'd clearly been raised by rugby-playing cows. And he just, I'm sure he achieved his entire business career and educational career through volume alone. I remember getting called into his office once, and he said, Mr. Weverell, do you like it here? I said, yeah. And then he just screamed at me for 2 minutes. I have no idea what, but his face went bright red, and he was just screaming a load of stuff that must have been heard like at the other end of the school. And after he said, and do you understand? I didn't want to say no, because I think that would have been a bad move. I wasn't a bright kid, but I just said yes. He said, well, get out. And I never did figure out why I got called into his office.
Nice.
I'm going to skip the good teacher because I had a lot of really great teachers, but my first grade teacher was fucking horrific. She threw things at students, and not like balls of paper or paper airplanes. Shoes. Her shoes. She took them off her feet and flung them at students who were misbehaving. This is not a good woman. The erasers from the chalkboard, that was her going easy on us. The best day was when a guy in the class caught the shoe en route to his face, smelled it, made a face, and threw it back at her. That was the day
Nice.
he became a legend. I'm not sure that he ever actually graduated high school, but fuck it, it's South Carolina.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't remember my bad teachers because it was kind of like when I got out, I just escaped and blanked them from my mind. But I had two really good teachers in high school. Mr. Trimble taught history, and his thing was he really enjoyed the violent aspects of history, and he would just make that shit come to life, which at least made history a lot more interesting than other teachers have had made it. And Mr. Schwab was a calculus teacher, and what I liked about him was he wasn't one of those people, okay, you got it wrong, and he would just completely destroy you on a test. He was looking to make sure that you understood the concept, and if you did something stupid like, okay, I understand the concept, but I added instead of subtracted, he would take 1 point off, just mark it and say, stupid mistake, and it was cool. So it was like, that kind of encouraged the concept of, okay, this is, okay, let's learn the theory behind this, not just try to spit out right answers.
That is a good one.
And then Rick was in charge of the nuclear plant that had a meltdown. You should have subtracted, asshole.
1 point. Oh, man. I had a high school teacher who was English and my academic coach named Mrs. Villarreal, who was really nice and a great teacher. But for actually, one that I tend to think back on for something really unique, I have never had a lot of people who could teach writing well. And I don't know if that's just my experience or if it's a hard subject, but in college, my senior year, I had to take this required English senior course that was a blow-off class. It was just one of those, like, you have to do this. We know you have to do this. The professor knows you have to do this. But it's, just another English credit to get things knocked out. And he was very chill, though. And it was an interesting one. He was like, yeah, we're going to write, but we're going to be real open about, like, what the subject is. And we're going to brainstorm it in class. And it was a very relaxed, like, no ego writing department. It was much more about kind of drilling down on what we liked about writing and what subjects brought out the best in us. So it was a lot more personal development focused than him, like, trying to get us into whatever techniques he thought were good. And I looked back on that class really well. That helped kindle my passion for writing.
Kindle.
Ba-dum-bum.
I don't have many teachers that I remember that were bad. Or if they're bad, that's why I don't remember them. None of them stand out as being so bad that they're horrible. But so I'm going to focus on a couple of good ones. Mrs. Parker from 9th grade biology. She taught me what a cloaca was.
God damn you, woman.
Mrs. Moore was my chemistry teacher. She was hot, and also she gave us an assignment. We had to split up into groups and do a project about an element, and that was left pretty open-ended. Our group got assigned samarium, and our group made a video called The Good Samarium, which had nothing to do with the element. It was just like a fantasy movie about, some people on a quest to find samarium. And, we got an A+ on it because it was awesome. But I didn't learn shit about samarium. And my college professor, Tom DeHaven, who inspired me to want to be a writer because he was just a guy I could listen to talk all day. I took 9 of his classes. Most of them did not help me graduate. They were just extra classes I wanted to take because I loved to listen to the guy talk. I think he's written Superman canon.
Damn.
He's a cool guy, yeah. He wrote It's Superman.
Check that out.
Cool.
Okay.
So I don't know if I said it on the podcast before, but years later, I met my favourite teacher, Doc Campbell. He's now the principal, like the head of CEO of like a group of schools. So my daughter goes to one of them. So I went to her concert and I saw him there, and he taught us English, so he taught us writing and everything. And I was like, I should go and say hi, and tell him I'm a writer now. And I thought, then he might ask me what I write. I don't know if I want to tell him that. So I didn't. It's like, what have you wrote? Oh, yeah. I think I just finished Put Your Hand in My Ass by that point. It's like...
Oh, man. I would have worn that like a badge.
That would have been great. Steve goes up. He's about to open his mouth. It's like, so what do you do for a living? I'm on welfare.
Oh, all right. Well, that is probably enough from the Discord for this round. So let's throw to our Facebook, where Joe has been collecting, consolidating, filtering down, and distilling all your questions into the very best that you have to offer. Joe, no pressure.
All right. Our friend Rachel asks, would you rather walk barefoot across a floor full of Legos or be locked in a room listening to Justin Bieber while someone farted into your AC vent? I'm honestly going to take the latter. I have kids. I've walked over a floor full of Legos. I have also sat in front of someone who farted in front of a big old industrial fan, and
I fucking apologized. All right.
Like farts are temporary. Lego pain is for hours.
It doesn't say we can't punch Justin Bieber while we're listening to him. So
I don't know if you're getting serenaded, Rick.
I don't think he's there in the room with you.
Yeah.
oh,
He's not the one farting.
It just says you're locked in a room listening to Justin Bieber. It is non-specific about anything
You
else.
might just be in a room saying, "Okay, guy, how are we going to get out of this fart room?"
then screw that. I've stepped on D4s before. I can deal.
Yeah, I'm with Rick. I'll walk on Legos, but as long as it's not D4s, and sure as fuck not the D4s in Bob's metal Caverns and Creatures dice. Because those things will kill you.
Yeah, my feet are half dead anyway, just from bearing my weight and hardness on them, so I can take some Legos without much issue.
I'd probably just take the Legos because I hate myself. There we go.
I'm going to assume that both of these options can be filmed and put on YouTube, and I'm going to, Justin Bieber singing while farting on me. That's going to get some hits.
It would get some hit. He's not wrong. I mean,
No.
Just good
no.
business sense.
That would get some hits.
And it's not going to hurt my feet.
Okay. Our friend John asks, what is your favorite breakfast food?
The Burger King
been asked this before.
sandwich.
that's a good one.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon. Duh.
Lately, so my wife has started making homemade yogurt with like heavy cream, so it's really, really thick. I've been chopping up a peach and eating it with yogurt and some granola, and that shit is really good.
On the opposite end of that, my favorite breakfast food is whatever I bought last night coming home from a nightclub, and there's some of it left. That is the best breakfast food.
Oh,
I mean, reheated club
Don't reheat
pub
it.
food is
Just
pretty
find
good.
it on the floor.
I'm just gonna go basic. I'm apparently still 12 because I'm just gonna say a soggy bowl of Frosted Flakes.
The pizza I found in the den as I was leaving your girlfriend's apartment.
all right,
Oh man,
Your mom's pussy.
in a general sense, pancakes. 'Cause
Well.
I keep coming back to them. They're a thing I try if I'm trying a new place. I love pancakes when they're done well. In a specific sense, Taco Bell steak breakfast crunch wrap. So fucking good.
I forgot about the Scotch egg. That's something I've had so few times, but always a beautiful experience.
Traditional breakfast food, but yeah, sure. Well, it's got an egg in it.
Wait, is that not breakfast?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind
That's
of
how
is.
I experienced it. When are you supposed to have a Scotch egg?
Just whenever. Yeah, well, I wouldn't relegate
Well,
it to
breakfast
breakfast.
is
It's just
whenever.
kind of like it's conveniently you can just carry it around in your pocket and eat it whenever you want.
When are you gonna eat a Scotch egg except when you're stumbling around in the morning after a hard night's drinking?
At a buffet in a funeral,
When you're stumbling around in the middle of the night after a hard night's drinking.
or at a wedding, or at a christening, or anywhere where there's a plate where small circular foods can be stacked upon one another.
All right. Well, I haven't been to these occasions over there.
Is Scotch egg like a deviled egg over there? Like, I know they are different things. I just mean in the sense that it serves that ubiquitous role.
It is an egg encased in a sphere of sausage meat, which is in turn encased in a sphere of breadcrumb.
That's fucking breakfast.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was just like that. The way you're describing them is the way we use deviled
Yeah,
eggs.
that sounds fantastic. Is the egg, like, boiled?
It's kind of like rubbery, so yeah, I assume so. It's like a rubber egg in some
All
rubber
right.
sausage. Imagine a power ball that is an egg sausage.
Imagine a breakfast in a sphere.
I do love a good kolache.
To me, that does still sound like a ball of bacon.
I don't think I've ever had one for breakfast.
Well, you're doing it wrong.
But yeah, you got a point.
It's
I
okay.
think I'm
Well,
doing it
I think we're running into something, which is that a Scotch egg is very clearly a breakfast by American standards.
Yeah,
It's okay, Steve. I was 30 years old before I learned that Waffle House is open. I never knew they were open during the day until well after college.
That's like me and Denny's. Where else do you end up at 2 a.m. after a show, to eat breakfast?
Your girlfriend's apartment.
Well, yeah, but
Your mom's pussy. Ha
all right. All right. Our friend Michael asks, while writing your books, do they always go as you planned? With which one ended up totally different from the way you initially planned?
Which one?
Plan?
Oh, yeah. Everyone ends up exactly like I intended. Sure.
I tend to write by the seat of my pants, so they very often end up differently than I anticipated. But usually, like for me, that's half the fun is discovering. Like I go in with an idea of what the book's about, and then midway through, I start to realize what the book is actually about, which is always a fun moment.
Yeah, I would say half and half. Like, a good chunk of my books end up where I intended them to end up, and another good chunk did is go off the rails. And I'm like, well, that was pretty interesting.
Mine always end up where I thought they would end up because I tend to start with a beginning and an ending pretty clearly in mind. The feral fucking path they take to get there, however, leaves way more bodies on the floor than I expected when I started.
I think maybe the most neatly structured things I write are probably in my Shingles books, and I think they're probably the closest to kind of a thriller payoff. But I don't think I've planned a single ending to any of them. The fact that they started off with a ridiculous title I thought was funny and became a coherent story is always a surprising delight to me.
Let's see. Weirdly, as much as I like to improv between stuff, I typically know my endings pretty well in advance going into stuff. So I can't say that I've had one of those completely go out from under me, but I've definitely had characters who end up being bigger pieces than I initially expect. Something just clicks, they go well, and they end up getting more spotlight than initially budgeted for in the outline. So for, I guess, an example, Corpy's Hexcellent was not necessarily going to be such a big part of the story, but the more I wrote her, the more I liked her and the more I liked that dynamic. So she ended up kind of surprising me and taking on a bit more narrative weight.
Yeah, what was it? With Scary Dead Things, the character of Gan was supposed to be a quick walk-on, and now she's just become one of the most popular things in the series.
Yeah, I heard that's what happened with Popeye.
That's true, yeah.
And Urkel.
In my most recent book, there was a one-off character who showed up in the first draft. Who's a profanity-spouting sentient lawnmower named Herb, and he ended up being way more important than I expected him to be. All right, this is an interesting one. Our friend Melanie says, since Hollywood has been remaking movies over the last few years, what book would you like to see turned into a movie? And I think we agreed that we can't pick our own.
I didn't agree to that.
Oh.
Or each other.
Or anyone else on the show.
I was waiting for Bevan. I was like, I know Bevan never respects that rule. Oh. Well, Bevan, why don't you go ahead with yours while the rest of us take a moment to think.
I'll play by the rules. Let me take a moment.
Well, I tell you what, I'll plug Caverns and Creatures.
We didn't plan this out ahead of time. This is bullshit.
No. I did. There were comments. There were comments by several of us on that particular question, saying that we should.
Well done.
This is a tough one because, truth be told, I'm not a huge person of necessarily making books into movies for the sake of it, because I often think books are the best form for their story. I mean, as much as I would love to move some of my stuff into a visual medium, it's a tough one, because it's also asking, like, which are you willing to slice down? I guess what book can be sliced down into a fraction of itself and still maintain the quality?
One of my favorite books has already been made into a movie, but the movie sucked. So I wouldn't mind, since we mentioned remakes, I wouldn't mind seeing a remake done, hopefully not sucky, of Preston and Child's The Relic.
Yeah, that movie was not good.
Did not see it.
I would love to see either a fantasy TV series or trilogy adaptation of Tad Williams' Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. It's one of my favorite series.
That would have to be like 5 seasons.
Yeah,
of
it
TV,
really
though.
would have to be, because it's really long.
Yeah. Now TV would open up a lot more options, but a movie has to be concise. That's
I got one. Scalzi's Red Shirts.
all right.
It's a novella. You can get that shit done in a couple of hours.
Novella is about the right size.
Yeah. And, I mean, that has to be a novella, because the joke kind of doesn't. It's one joke. It's only going to work for limited space.
I'm always embarrassed to admit that I like Jasper Ford. And not because there's anything wrong with him, but because I haven't read his main series, because I don't feel well read enough to get all the references. I'm a fan of his nursery crime series, and that I would like to see made into a couple of different movies based on the books.
I would love to see, not a movie, I don't think, there's been semi-movies made, like TV two-parters of some of the material, and some of them have done all right, some of them not so much, but I'd love to see a completely intertwined Game of Thrones level of following character perspectives around an intertwining plot, but with a better ending, based around the Discworld stuff. Not necessarily a different conversion, a direct conversion, but just taking all those wonderful characters and concepts and plot points and just building 8 seasons around that. While we're asking for the moon, may as well ask for that.
Yeah. I think you could also do Six of Crows. I think you could boil that down into a movie. Because at its heart, it's a heist story. So you can cut, the deep character development and just make it a fucking heist flick.
Easy conversions. David Gemmel's stuff. I mean, he's just basically kind of a hardcore swords and sorcery dude. But his stuff is so easily translated to a visual medium. I'm genuinely surprised that nobody kind of has made movies out of it. And he's dead now, so he can't complain if they're bad. So it just seems, if I was going for an easy win, probably just pick up any random David Gemmell book.
So Let's Pretend This Never Happened by Jenny Lawson is one that I think would make a really good comedic movie that could be transitioned over pretty easy, because it's a series of stories about her life. So you could structure them together. You could pile a few up. You could stretch them or move them as needed to fit within the narrative. And you could cherry pick the best without necessarily losing the thread of it all. So I think that one would have the ability to be made into a movie really well if they kept her comedic voice strong throughout it.
And get somebody who could carry the comedy and the pathos.
I would want her to do narration for it. Like, I feel like it's the kind of movie that you would want her, like the narrator kind of active within it, and you would want her voice. Because if you guys have listened to the audio for Let's Pretend This Never Happened, it is so much better than the book, and I loved the book, or just the print book. Yeah. She does it herself, and it adds so much. Like, I am a very outspoken authors shouldn't be their own narrators for most of the time. This is one of the exceptions I cite.
I want Renee Zellweger to play her.
I think you'd have to do like a couple of actresses like through her life, because it is, so much of it is just about that journey. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, that is going to take care of it for this episode of Authors and Dragons. We will be back next week with a side quest, and then we will be back live on August 15th, youtube.com/Authors and Dragons. Come join us for A&D 2020 Digicon. We are putting together a slate of entertainment. We really hope you're going to enjoy it. So until then, bye.
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 Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to those who created it, which is us, the people you just heard play the game. Opening and closing themes performed by the Gore Core 4.
Authors and Dragons! Authors and Dragons!
I like to fight, however, fighting the earth feels wrong.